Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig's Sports. This is the CFL DFS video for week number 11. If you're joining me for the very first time, first of all, welcome in. Second of all, this is how this week's video will be structured. We'll be going through my sheet for week number 11, talking through all the relevant players, whether or not I would play them in GPP, cash game format, or kind of a pay down option. And then I'll also be mentioning whether or not I'll be overweight or underweight to those players in line with the field, slightly overweight, slightly underweight. But without further ado, get right into it. So the first team this week is going to be the Ottawa Redblacks. So we had a pretty interesting depth chart for them today at quarterback. Drew Brown's out this week due to a foot injury. Dustin Crum played in his absence last week. Jeremiah Masoli is listed as the starter at $6,800. Looks like a potential paydown option, but there is a little bit of risk that you might see him and Crum both in this game. So keep an eye out on that. You know, maybe a little bit more risky than we like. Maybe slightly overweight to him. We don't really know what to expect in terms of ownership right now at this point in time. And then at running back, we got Raquel Armstead once again. Solid GPP option, probably going to be in line with the field. Not too much to say here. Really just kind of the one lone running back that they do have on this team, even though they've been using Devonta Dedmon a little bit in that regard as well, but very, very minimally. In terms of the wide receivers, we have Khalil Pimbleton out this week due to a hand injury, who has been a very good surprise for this team overall. Justin Hardy is still kind of the top dog. $10,600 GPP option, probably going to be in line with the field on him once again. And then, you know, if you want to take some other shots, Dominic Grimes, GPP option, as well as Jalen Acklin. I'm not a big Acklin guy, but if you really want to get to him this week with no Pimbleton, makes some sense there. And then Addison is the potential paydown option as well at $2,600. Probably going to be in line with the field on kind of all four of these guys. Take your shots as you do see fit. And then for that Redblacks defense, going against the Stampeders, I will consider them a GPP paydown option as well. Probably going to be in line with the field on them as well. And they've been a little bit better this year than we kind of expected. You know, going against Jake Mayer, there is some upside to be had there. He has his good games. He has his bad games like a lot of these CFL quarterbacks. And the good games are really good, but the bad games are pretty bad at the same time as well. And that leads us right into the Calgary Stampeders team. We got Jake Mayer at quarterback. GPP option, probably slightly underweight to him this week overall, just because I think there is some pretty decent value at the quarterback position. Does have some upside, but does have some downside at the same time as well, which seems like what we say about him almost every week. At running back, we did see a change this week. Kylan Hill was promoted from the practice squad. He was a former 7th-round draft pick of the Green Bay Packers. Played a little bit there, had some off-the-field issues. That's why he's not in the NFL at this point in time. I still have Peyton Logan listed as a paydown option, maybe overweight to him, slightly overweight to him this week, but at the same time might have a little bit less opportunities. We'll see who ultimately ends up being the kick returner for this team. So on their depth chart, it doesn't technically say that. Cam Looper got sent down. So it could be Ishmael Hyman, it could be Peyton Logan. Kylan Hill's even got some kick return experience himself as well. And then we move down to the wide receivers for this Calgary team. I do have listed here that Cam Looper did get sent down to the practice squad, so do not play him this week. But it's mainly the top two guys plus Clark Barnes. So Reggie Bagleton, GPP option, $8,200. In line with the field, maybe slightly overweight to the field on him this week. Mark and Michelle, $6,000 GPP option, in line with the field on him. And then I do have Clark Barnes there as well, $2,900. Has had some pretty decent games this year, so if you want to roll him out as a paydown option, you could definitely do that. Probably still going to be ultimately in line on the field with him. And then beyond that, Tyson Middlemost is out this week due to a hamstring injury, which seems like happens quite a bit for him, but he's not a major piece of this offense. Cole Tucker was a little bit banged up due to a knee injury, but is available for this game and on the depth chart. So not too much else to be said here. We'll move down to the Calgary Stampeders defense, $6,100, probably in line with the field. There could be a little bit of upside, you know, going against Jeremiah Masoli, making his first start of the season. Could be a little bit of rust to be had there as well. Then we move down to the Montreal Alouettes, and Davis Alexander didn't practice on Tuesday, was full on Wednesday. It sounds like it was a personal thing, kind of just away from the team for a day. Not really sure what was up with that. They didn't say too much more about that. He's available. Cody Fajardo was listed as limited practice on Tuesday, full on Wednesday. He's technically listed as available as well. So whoever ultimately ends up starting for them this week will be a GPP option, probably in line with the field on them. But at this point in time, we do not know who that will be until we get that depth chart coming out tomorrow, as I am recording this on Wednesday. Their game's on Friday, so their depth chart will be out on Thursday. And then at running back, we got Walter Fletcher, GPP option once again. Probably going to be underweight to the field on him, as he is $10,000 now at this point in time. And kind of the big news for them, and if you played him last week, was kind of unfortunate as well. Tyson Philpott's going to be out this week due to a foot injury. Hopefully he's back in the foreseeable future, but kind of shallows out this wide receiver room in quite a big way. We did see Charleston Rambo step up in a big way last week, $5,600. GPP option, maybe in a cash game option if you want to get there. We'll be overweight to the field on him this week. And then if you want to take your shots on Cole Speaker, Reggie White Jr. probably going to be in line with the field on both of them this week as well. If you want to take a shot on somebody else beyond that, go right ahead. But it's kind of a tricky situation right now at this point in time. Hopefully one of these guys truly stands out this week overall. And then we move down to that Alouettes defense, $4,300. Probably going to be in line with the field on them. They are going against the Roughnecks, so just a solid GPP option. It's a little bit cheaper price tag than they have been a couple of these most recent weeks. And then we move down to that Rough Riders team. So it could still be Shea Patterson at quarterback, GPP if he's the one starting, but will be slightly underweight to him. If it's Trevor Harris starting, which is very much a possibility at this point in time since he did practice in full all week, technically this is available. This will be another one as we get that depth chart coming out. Then we will be able to kind of have that update and make that decision just in general. And then we move down to running back. AJ Alouette is back this week, $9,400. GPP option will be underweight to him just coming off that hip injury, although he was able to practice in full all week. And he is technically listed as available. If he's unable to go once again, then it would go down to Frankie Hickson, who could be a solid option in that case. Then we move down to the wide receiver position. Aju is out this week due to a finger injury. And then it looks like Keyshawn Johnson should be back this week at $3,900. Pay down option, got some good chemistry. With Shea Patterson was able to practice in full all week. He was dealing with a concussion that caused him to miss last week's game. Sean Bain Jr., Samuel Emilus, both GPP options, probably in line with the field on both them. And then Dante Myers had a really good week last week. He's $7,400. You could roll him out in GPPs as well if you really want to. Duncan Busby was active last week, didn't do anything, and he's not listed on DraftKings this week, so not too worried about him at this point in time. And then in terms of that Rough Riders defense, $3,600. Kind of a pay down option, maybe slightly overweight for a bounce back week for them. We'll see what it looks like with no Tyson Fulfott at wide receiver, although the Montreal Alouettes have played really well this season and did all right in his absence last week. Moving down to the Tiger Cats, we have Taylor Powell as the starting quarterback moving forward, is at least what it sounds like. He's $6,900. GPP paydown option, maybe even a cash game option if you want to go there this week. We'll be overweight to the field on him. James Butler, running back, $10,500. GPP option, probably going to be in line with the field on him once again. He does have that good upside on any given slate. Maybe a little bit less with Taylor Powell at quarterback since he is a little bit more mobile than like Bo Levi Mitchell, but still do like his upside ultimately at the end of the day. And then we move down to the wide receiver position, mainly looking at Shamar Bridges here as a GPP option, probably overweight to the field on him. Once again, he's kind of that leading target getter. But if you want to take a shot on Stephen Dunbar, Luther, Keandre Smith, Tim White, any of those guys, you can definitely do that as well. One other note is that Smoke Harris, the returner, has not been able to practice Tuesday and Wednesday this week due to a foot injury, so we'll most likely see somebody else returning kicks for them this week overall. Could be Tim White. If it's him, then obviously his value does go up and looks like a solid GPP play overall. Moving down to their defense, $3,800. It's an okay matchup versus the Edmonton Elks. There could be some upside there. So in line with the field on them if you want to get there as kind of a paydown option. Then we move down to that Edmonton Elks team. We'll have to see what the quarterback situation looks like. I have monitored the status of Trey Ford moving forward. It could be him. It could be McCoy Bethel-Thompson. I need to look a little bit more into Trey Ford's injury just because I haven't seen too much on that yet. I know he was not listed on the initial report, but I may have missed like a small transaction if they put him on the injured list already. So I will check up on that and then kind of leave an update down in the comments as well. And Kevin Brown at running back, $5,900. Was able to practice in full on Wednesday due to a shoulder injury. Javon Leaks played really well in his absence, so $6,300 GPP option, probably slightly overweight to the field on him. Maybe even if Kevin Brown is back this week, but we'll have to see. Justin Rankin behind him has been solid as well, so kind of a paydown option there if Kevin Brown's out once again. Then in terms of the wide receivers for them, I got Tevin Jones, $3,300. This is kind of a cash game play, slightly overweight to him. He's had 2 back-to-back really strong weeks, and his price tag actually went down. And, if you want to play Curly Giddens Jr., Eugene Lewis, Hergy Mallard, GPP options kind of in line with the field if you really want to get there, if you want to take that shot. But, I'm mainly getting a Tevin Jones. Maybe a little bit of Giddens in my ella if it is McCoy Bethel-Thompson at quarterback, if it's Eugene. And then maybe a little bit of Eugene Lewis if it ends up being Trey Ford at quarterback. And then last but not least, we have that Elks defense, $4,000. Technically have them as a GPP option in line with the field. There is a little bit of upside to be had there, but I'm still probably going to be a little bit underweight to them just in general. Then we move down to the BC Lions, who had some pretty big news this week. Nathan Rourke is now officially back with the team. He signed this week. Whether or not he plays kind of remains to be seen. We'll monitor that news as the week goes forward. At this point in time, I believe he is not on DraftKings. If he's added later on in the slate, that would be kind of interesting, but it doesn't always end up working out that way. But we don't even know if he's going to play this week either way. Vernon Adams Jr. did not practice on Wednesday due to his knee injury once again. David Mackey, the fullback, didn't practice on Wednesday due to a hamstring injury. We'll monitor his status as well. And then Alexander Hollins missed Wednesday as well due to his own knee injury. So it's kind of shelling out here at this point in time. And the only players that I'm pretty much getting to from this BC Lions team this week, William Stanback, running back, $8,200, GPP option, probably in line with the field, maybe a little bit underweight. And then Keon Hatcher at $8,800, GPP in line with the field on him once again this week. And then in terms of their defense, they're $3,400. So if you really want to get there, you can as a pay down option. Still going to be slightly underweight to them, as they did do pretty poorly versus the Blue Bombers 2 weeks ago and really poorly against the Elks in, I believe, last week's game as well. And then we move down to the Blue Bombers. We got Zach Clarissa, quarterback, $8,800. GPP option, maybe in line with the field on him, but there is some value at quarterback this week. Brady Oliveira at running back, $9,700. GPP option, maybe even a cash game option this week, will be overweight to him once again. Then we move down to wide receiver Nick Dominski at $7,000, in line with the field on him as a GPP option. Ontario Wilson, $6,100. Would consider him a cash game option once again, slightly overweight or overweight to him once again this week. Kenny Lawler was able to practice on Wednesday in full due to his forearm injury, so we'll see whether or not he's back this week or not. That could be a game changer at $2,600. But really can't bank on it at this point in time. Cody Case, who had been the returner, has been moved over to the practice squad. And then Lucky Whitehead, in his first game with the Blue Bombers, actually played really well. So at $3,400, he looks like a viable pay down option as well. We'll be in line with the field on him. And then we got the Blue Bombers defense, $4,500. GPP option. Going against this Lions team, if it's not Vernon Adams Jr., if it's not Nathan Rourke at quarterback, it could be a pretty good matchup for them just in general. So there's some upside to be had there. And then the Toronto Argonauts are the one lone team on the bye this week overall. But with that being said, that's a quick little rundown on my CFL DFS sheet for week number 11. As always, if you have any questions related to CFL DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. And then, as always, I'll be leaving all the depth charts down in the comment section of this video. If there's any other major news, it'll be left there as well. And then all the other updates can also be found on my Patreon page at patreon.com/CoachCraigSport. Small monthly donation over there. You get access to the CFL DFS sheet every single week, which will be updated throughout the week. You get access to some MLB DFS notes as well, if that's something you're interested in. But with that being said, if you are brand new to my channel, checking it out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now, we have MLB DFS in terms of the core pick videos Monday through Friday. We got the CFL DFS video coming out once a week, typically on Wednesdays. And then last but not least, if you're interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting, be sure to check out the links and promo codes for Parlay Play, BetUS, and Prize Picks down in the description section of this video. If you are a brand new user on any one of those three sites, when you sign up, make your initial deposit, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks and Parlay Play, it's 100% match up to $100. And then for BetUS, it's 125% match on your first three deposits, I believe up to $2,500 in aggregate. So some pretty great opportunities to be had out there. And then with that being said, if you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comment section of this video or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport, and be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for this week's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day, no matter what day you're watching this on, a great weekend overall, and some pretty good luck in CFL DFS for week number 11.